Stesen apa ni? Stesen Bukit Tengah. Besar gila.
Dari mana pick up?
Dari SP.
Oh, SP. Oh, saja short time.
Saya short naik. Jadi macam yak je.
Oh, you sekarang apa? Tadi kira dia start.
Dah start.
Bila kata you jumpa kalau hitam semua Bukit Tengah. Last dia count.
Oh, ending dia.
Ending dia. Tu dia start tu, dia ending.
Oh. Prai.
Mana kata sistem di macam di mana kata dia di stesen Bukit Tengah dia dah. Kan dia count. Oh, you masuk berapa? You keluar berapa?
Baru clear.
Baru dia bagi road. Jalan sistem tu dia bagi road kan. Hijau. Tak ada kalau dia tengok dia miss.
Dia miss. Jam lah.
Dia tak bagi lah sekitar. Merah.
Triangular.
Dia pun macam diamond pot sini. You tengok diamond pot. Ini mana kata dia kawalan lah. Kalau you tengok dia ada apa sudah. Dia ada segi dia automatic dia
hitam, dia ada jalur hitam putih.
Jalur hitam putih. Hitam putih kan. Itu automatic. Kalau Acer kata dia ada macam bulat.
Oh.
Kalau hitam putih, dalam hitam tak ada bulat-bulat. Dan kalau kata macam diamond pot, macam you tengok diamond pot 50 tu itu permanent. Sampai bila-bila.
50 juga.
50 juga sampai bila-bila. Tu.
Counter.
End dia.
Ending. Swing bridge.
Ni dia punya jambatan.
Pernah pusing ni?
Jambatan pusing.
Dia pernah pusing lagi?
Boleh pusing?
Boleh pusing.
Bila ferry mau masuk dock, ada dock kan?
Dia pusing ke?
Dia pusing. 100 bilion. 200 juta.
Dulu single track. Sekarang double track pula. Tambah wire atas ni. Signal. engine tunggu.
Dulu dah. Kita Prai ni Mertajam ni ingat tak potong air kan. Sampai sekali lah.
Tua. Engine tinggal sini.
Ingat juga kan. Sampai sekali lah. Macam mana ada punya program tau.
Now, are you a tourist or are you Malaysian?
I'm a Malaysian and
Okay.
yeah,
So you're
I'm
just taking this local train from.
actually I'm a railway fan.
Oh,
Yeah.
you take the trains as a hobby.
Yes, indeed.
I see. So where is your family? Where do you live?
I live in Sungai Petani, just a couple, what, 1 hour from here.
About
Yeah.
1 hour. Yeah. I'm not. This is the. Well, I came down from Bangkok.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I took the international train when it was running about 20 years ago. And I don't think it's running anymore. It seems it only goes from Butterworth to Bangkok now.
Actually, yeah, it is running. Bangkok to Butterworth.
Yes, that
Yeah,
train.
that-
And I took that one already, and now I'm going back on the same
Oh.
train. So, but before I always took the bus when I would come to Malaysia.
Oh, I see.
And I thought it was faster because in Thailand
Yeah.
the buses are very fast.
Indeed.
But you have to transfer to a van in Hajjai.
Really?
And then you take a van to Penang or wherever you're going to get across the border. And then of course from Butterworth or wherever you can get a bus anywhere in Malaysia. But actually I figured it out. It was about the same price and it took about as much time because you have to transfer.
Really?
And you have to wait for passengers. So I figured out that although Thai trains are really, really slow,
Yeah.
they're Thai trains, because their railroads are they're
Yeah.
lines are
Yeah.
really old.
Oh, yeah.
Now once you get, it's interesting. The infrastructure in Malaysia is actually pretty modern, up to date. The highways and the railways, it's all
Yeah.
new, right? They've upgraded everything.
They built this train around what, 2013 or 12. They completed.
Wait, since you're interested in trains, you know that China has been in discussions pretty seriously.
I am free sitting actually. Free sitting. I ride this train to Sungai Petani only.
Uh,
I am free sitting. Free sitting. So
you can change it because
Okay.
it's number ticket me.
okay, I will.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
When you ride on the high-speed trains in China, they don't even use the track that connect like this.
The fish plate.
They're
Welded.
seamless. They're
Yeah,
seamless.
welded together.
They're seamless, and it's just like gliding. You don't
Yeah.
feel it's very, and of course they're going very fast. They're going 300 kilometers an hour. This probably goes about 60 kilometers maybe. Max.
I actually seen it run 80, 90.
80 or 90.
Yeah.
It's short distance. We're going pretty slow now, but every railroad had passenger trains, but they stopped them when I was very small.
Wow.
And now they have like Amtrak,
Yeah,
which is
Amtrak,
a government. But if it's a 3-hour trip, you will not get there for 6 hours.
Wow.
It's
Really?
Well, many times, yeah. So it's so unreliable because the freight trains have priority over the passenger trains.
Wow.
Because the freight train company owns the track,
I
and the
see.
government just leases the use of the track.
Oh.
And it's a government company, and so they're the slowest. Have high speed in America. A high speed train is 150 kilometers per hour. That's high speed by definition. We don't have high speed trains. The 300 kilometer, Eurostar service or the Intercity Express in Germany. They don't exist. I don't know what he was talking about. How can we sell high speed trains to India when we don't even use them ourselves?
Wow.
It's like, I don't know. So really bad trains. But if you get a Chinese train in Malaysia, that'll be an experience for you. But it'll be expensive to take,
Yeah, but
or more expensive, I should say. It's still it's like flying, but you can catch it more conveniently because the train stations are usually right in the middle of the city.
yeah.
A good connection with buses and things, and and they're fast. And, airplanes fly about 500 kilometers an hour. The trains they used to 300. Well, they used to in China go 325, but they had an accident, so then they slowed them down to 300.
I see.
Yeah, they can go faster. They can go about 350 to 400 kilometers an hour in test runs.
Wow.
They can run them that fast, but they don't do it normally for safety reasons. Same with the Japanese. They run, I think, about 300 kilometers an hour.
300 kilometers is like enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fast enough.
Yeah,
But-
well, and it's for safety reasons. I mean, of course, even at 300 kilometers per hour, if you run into something,
Yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah,
I mean,
indeed.
you're dead.
It's pretty much like
It's like
airplanes.
Yeah, like an airplane. 500 kilometers per hour, you get stopped, marshy or something.
Yeah.
So they build them like on bridges oftentimes, especially around Shanghai where it's kind of marshy land. So they build them on bridges, and they have to be very straight. They can't turn too fast.
Yeah.
And so these tracks, they turn too much. They're not level enough.
Yeah.
They go up and down too much. So they can sometimes use the same right of way, but often they'll have to build like an elevated track or something, in order to use them for
Yeah.
high-speed trains. So they'll have to build a special track anyway. So you said your track is 1 meter wide. What is standard gauge? I forget now.
Standard gauge is 1.4 meters.
1.4
Yeah.
meters. Okay. Now, so they use 1.4 meters in India. Is that standard
I think so.
gauge?
Yes.
Because I know when I was there, they were
Mhm.
modernizing it, and I
Yeah.
talked to somebody who worked for Indian Railways,
Mhm.
and he said they had just about finished upgrading all of their track. He said I think he called it standard gauge,
I see.
because they'd had a lot of narrow. In fact, they had
Yeah.
every kind of gauge.
Yeah.
The British left in every kind of gauge.
Same thing.
In Malaysia, they left the. So what they did in India is they upgraded to standard gauge. Everything is now standardized in India, but they don't have any high-speed trains. They're very slow, but they are upgraded, so they're similar to what you have here. Now here you settled on 1 meter gauge. Is that because that's what the British had left you mainly, and so you just use that?
That and partly because Thailand is still using the same gauge.
So your
Yeah.
train interconnects with Thailand, and
Yes.
of course Singapore is just a connection of
Yeah.
of Malaysia, because in fact they were one colony originally. There was no
Yes.
difference between them. And I think the British built the train lines in Thailand. I think
Really?
the British companies did. I think so. I think they were involved.
That's why it's the meter gauge.
Yeah. So it's the same reason they had a lot of it in India, probably. So you just standardized on whatever the British left, essentially, and that's
Actually, the government is actually planning. Why I'm not sure when they will do it, but they are planning for standard gauge high-speed train from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. Yeah. So, but I'm not sure when they will do the project.
Now,
Not
does
really
China
sure.
use standard gauge? Photograph the stations.
Yeah, record. This is Tasek Gelugor, a small station. The station used to be quite small. Now it's like what? 1, 2, 3, 4,
Getting
5,
bigger.
6, 7 lines. Very big compared to previously what? Three lines. When
I think there's quite a lot of trade between Thailand and Malaysia now, isn't there?
on trains not so much, but
More trucks.
yeah, more trucks through the seas. Trains are only through Padang Besar. Yeah, the freight comes in there, but the freight use a train. There's a feeder service, a container feeder service. It departed the station about half an hour late, and it's on time now.
So what do you do for, what is your job, or what is your...
I'm still studying actually.
You're a student, yeah?
Yeah,
So you're a university student, or?
yeah, university student, first year in the southern part of Malaysia, Johor.
Studying what?
I'm studying in the public university, studying the aeronautical course. Yeah. Now this is Sungai Petani town. It's a town.
Oh, this is your town, huh? Pretty cool.
It's quite a not a big town, but it's got everything you need.
Really?
Yeah. There's a train station, bus station. There's no airport.
No
But-
airport.
But because Penang International Airport and Alor, both of these cities has airport, and it's just 1 hour from here. So it's quite convenient.
So when you go to school, do you take the train?
No.
Bus.
In previously, my friends have cars, so
Oh, so
it's
you drive.
carpooling. Yeah.
Carpool. Okay.
Now this my station. Now there's an old shunting engine.
Oh, yeah.
Sungai Petani. They will stay here about 2 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Yeah, it's on time. Right to the minute.
Really?
Yeah.
3 o'clock.